This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.
Friday night hoops in the NBL. The two surprise packets across the season, the early part of the season, that's for sure. Cairns and New Zealand, the Breakers travelling to the far north of Queensland. And I think the Breakers probably have every right to think they could be favourite or at least flip of the coin, but they're the outsiders in this game. Let's have a look at a same game multi. It's going to be a great clash, this one up there in the far north. I think the Breakers at 1.5 plus 1.5, I think they can win this game for sure. Derek Pardon needs to get on the glass for the Breakers, and Barry Brown, the shooter, off the bench. Enjoy the game. Gamble responsibly.
You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
The Taipans want to be a contender this season, and they make a statement.
There is some energy around this Breakers group right now.
Shannon Scott saw what was coming and had Bullquile for the jam.
Brown Jr.
Brown Jr. in the corner, got it. Stole it away, but McDowell White stole it back. For three, got it.
Oh dear.
Frustrations have been building all night long. You go back to last season and you look to the bottom of the ladder to see the Cairns Taipans and the New Zealand Breakers. Both of them spent the entire season there. But it's a new season and it's a new Cairns Taipans and a brand new New Zealand Breakers. And for the first time in history, the two bottom place teams from the previous season are both in the top three after 7 rounds of the following year. It's second versus third. It is a bumper Friday night at the Cairns Convention Centre. Hello and welcome to the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's the Taipans and the Breakers doing battle. Jack Heron alongside the two living legends of the NBL, Andrew Gaze and Leonard Copeland. This one is going to be enormous. Gentlemen, good evening.
It certainly is, and anytime you've got the two of the top 3 teams in the competition going head-to-head, it's going to get some attention, some good individual performances at both ends of the floor, and I think this game is also about reflecting back on what happened earlier, and particularly for this team here, the New Zealand Breakers. 5 points in the first quarter, Jackie boy. That's not going to get it done normally, but they got it done. Quite extraordinary.
There's Keanu Pindercope's number 6 in the competition for points per game, and he's the #1 rebounder in the competition, and some suggesting he could be worth $500,000.
Let me tell you something, the way he's playing, you probably need to give it to him. He's been fantastic this year, rebounding the ball, scoring points, and just having a lot of fun, and that's why they're in second place.
And DJ Hogue has been riding shotgun with him all season long. He's been a brilliant recruit, the 26-year-old out of Ohio, averaging 22 points in his last 4 games. You put the two of them together, and they are the dynamic duo.
It is, and the combination of them, and they don't take anything away from their teammates. Very unselfish the way they go about it. Really clearly defined roles. Keanu Pinder, the way he's diving to the basket on those on-ball screens and playing above the rim. And of course, when you think of Hogue, it's that 3-ball, that size, that length, and the silky smooth way he goes about it.
Be careful with that dynamic duo name, though, bro.
That's a good point.
It's the modern dynamic duo. Don't you get territorial.
There we go.
Shannon Scott's been great for the Taipans this year as well. They needed leadership and they needed a steady hand with the ball. It's been 17 assists, Cope, since Shannon Scott had a turnover.
And that's why they're winning. Look, he's a lot more stable than McCall. McCall's a great player. I love McCall, but this guy comes down and gets everyone involved. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he can score.
To the Breakers, they're 8-3 on the season, and a large reason is that man you can see right now on your screen, Barry Brown Jr., averaging 20 points per game this season.
Yeah, he's coming off the bench, but that's a bit of a head fake because he's equal top in minutes played for this team, but he can do it in so many different ways. We all know he is a shoot-first guard, and he's doing it really efficiently, and most importantly, in big moments. When the game is tight, he does not back away from it. He's one of those players that wants the ball, got good hands, and he doesn't mind a little bit of chitter-chatter along the way, just to give his team a little bit of sassiness about it.
There's Jarrell Brantley, who's 17-10 last Sunday in their win, was plus 14 in that game against the Adelaide 36ers as well. Let's get courtside for the first time tonight. We need some leadership in this team, so we turn to former Opals captain Jenna O'Hea. Jenna, welcome, and you're very excited to see the Battle of the Bigs tonight.
Yeah, I really am. I think we've sung Keanu Pinder's
praises a lot this season, and he has been terrific. But last time these two teams matched up, back in round 4, is the only time he didn't score in double figures this season. And that, you know, New Zealand made it really difficult for him, and that's largely due to Derek Pardon. Now, we know sometimes American imports can take a little while to find their feet
come on
in
now.
the NBL. But the last couple of rounds, he is rolling and is a walking double-double at the moment. Really important for these two men to stay out of foul trouble because they both go to the free throw line a lot. So really important to play clean defense. Now, Gazy and Copes, who's going to get the chocolate snot in this individual matchup? The Aussie or the American?
Oh, hello. It's like that, is it?
I know where Gazy's going with this. I'm going with the big boy from New Zealand. Thank you.
There's the champion starting lineup for the Cairns Taipans. Jenna just trying to cause a bit of dissension between these two before we even start. And the New Zealand Breakers, their starting lineup as well. With thanks to our great friends at Champion, as Gazy mentioned, Isaiah Liafa starting, Barry Brown coming off the bench, and it's working for them, so they're going to keep doing it.
It is, and Pardon, what a story he has been. We know what he can do, putting points on the board and rebounding.
But he plays
his defense,
yes.
his defense is the thing that sticks out to me.
Pick and roll defense in particular.
And when you're trying to switch all the time like a lot of teams do, he can keep players in front. He can keep those little guys in front or turnover and start it off.
Both teams could potentially be on top of the ladder by the end of the round. Both are playing again this weekend. Wins for both of them and a loss to Sydney. We could be looking at a new ladder leader.
Isn't that fantastic for the league, though?
Well, a couple of the normal contenders are struggling a bit this year. It's opened up some other opportunities, which is great. Bull Qual walks his way into the paint, opens the account for Cairns.
And Abercrombie, we know he's had that issue with the eye, and he just copped a pretty heavy knock, so hopefully he can shake that off and everything's going to be okay.
Liafa out for Bradley. He shot the ball well this season, 39% from outside. That one doesn't go.
But he's solid inside as well. I love the physicality of him. He posts up, he takes the ball down low.
Sam Wardenberg off the Shannon Scott fine.
Well, it was a good find. Drew it into the traffic. Well, there was going to be a little hammer action on the weak side, but able to pick someone out that cutters to the basket.
It's a nice roll to the basket, and there's Jarrell Brantley doing the inside work.
Smart basketball. Pick and roll to the basket. Pump fake, get the two.
New Zealand 5-1 on the road this season, as are the Cairns Taipans when they're away from home.
What is it about winning on the road this year, Gazy? Everyone's winning on the road. Well, I shouldn't say everyone. I shouldn't say everyone, but...
Well, I think it just reflects the parity from top to bottom. And on any given night, it doesn't matter where you play, it's going to be a genuine contest.
Will McDowell-White defers to Isaiah Liafa. Now Pardon. They're so good off that pick and roll.
I'll tell you what, Cairns are going to do something about that straight away because they don't. New Zealand will kill them all night.
It's Keanu Pinder. He's going to have his hands full with Pardon, who blocked the shot. Fell out to Kuala. Long rebound goes the way of New Zealand. They trail by 2. Abercrombie, baseline, hard to the basket, drew a foul. And the veteran has free throws coming.
And you can see down the other end the way in which they're going to play Pinder. Pardon backing right off and almost inviting him to take a mid-range shot. Being so good at attacking the rim, and this guy's been good at attacking the rim his entire career. And a lot of ball on that one from that angle.
Only his 4th game of the season, Tom Abercrombie. Had to deal with an eye issue. Wasn't allowed to travel. He's had to wait and wait and wait to kick off his NBL23 campaign.
You know what, the thing about these two teams, both coaches have those personalities where they drive the team, and that's probably why these guys are playing the way they play this year.
Hogue, beautiful pass inside. Pinder's pass outside for Qual was just as good. He can't knock it down. Early stages at the Cairns Convention Centre. Brantley 0 from 2 from outside. Shannon Scott trying to get creative. Qual, third time lucky. Doesn't get that to stick. Pinder with the O-board and the putback.
Well, they all stood around. There was 4-on-1 on that rebound contest. Pinder was the one that was in the right place. Just goes up and it was pretty easy too for him.
Tell you what, though, Qual's not going to
Die wondering.
He's not going to die wondering at all, is he?
That's his role, and he's getting those looks. See a foul. I suspect. Have a look.
Offensive foul.
And that's an easy call. Brantley there raises the elbow into the throat of Pinder. And good pick up by the officials.
They have had some issues this year, New Zealand. There's Modi Mayor, their coach.
Looking smooth, too. Look at him.
Looking sharp, the all-black number.
There he is.
One of the leading contenders for the Coach of the Year, as is Adam Ford. That debate's starting to hot up. We're only 8 rounds in. Steve from Pinder did well not to foul.
Harding.
And then at the other end, Pinder reaching in. He's going to be called for his first.
Harden's just a defensive stopper, though, isn't he? He moves his feet. His arms are wailing all over the place. But he's a smart defender.
Three-point lead to the home team. These two teams met in round 4. We don't talk a lot about that game because it was pretty low scoring.
Well, it was a 1 of 17 start for the New Zealand Breakers.
In other words, it was an ugly game.
Well, they only had 5 points in the first quarter, but here's the good news for New Zealand is they were able to figure out a way to get the win.
Brantley inside, off the window. Cuts it back to 1.
He's just tough. You don't hear a lot about him, but he's tough. He's solid. Plays good defense. Can get to the basket. Uses his body well.
It's Tajir McCall checking in his first minutes. Still on his way back. He returns from a hip injury. Arthur left open. We'll get another look at it.
Go to work. Yes, go to work.
And that he does.
Smart move.
Well, he wanted him to go to work because he saw Pinder had already had that foul and just wanted to test him. And you're going to need some help down there with the big fella. Just trying to play a one-on-one contest. That's going to be a tough assignment if they just leave Pinder out there by himself.
Nice response from Cairns. Shannon Scott with his first points, and they take the lead back. First Cairns player since Luke Martin in 2006. Shannon Scott to have back-to-back 10 assists in a game.
Well, it's not just the assists, it's the efficiency, the no turnovers as well. 10 assists and no turnovers in a game is...
It's amazing.
Hogue, plenty of space to fire.
And that's what he does. You can't leave him that wide open because he's going to knock it down. And he shoots from deep.
Timeout, New Zealand. DJ Hogue buries three-pointer number 28 for the season. As we see it on the Amy replay, there's Shannon Scott firstly. And DJ Hogue, that shot is money. The Cairns lead 14-9. First quarter here at the Cairns Convention Centre. It's been a very eventful day here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Yes. Gentlemen, the Brisbane Bullets. Copes, you and I were there yesterday on some official business. We had no idea what was coming, and
I don't think anyone had any idea coming.
That they have parted ways with their coach, James Duncan, effective immediately.
It is. It's an interesting call just because of the timing of it. There's a lot of rumours around the place, and that perhaps during that FIBA window, but that's going to be the new coach. Their general manager, Sam McKinnon, he's out, and there we see some of the comments by James Duncan. Clearly, it looks like he wanted to see the process through, but circumstances when you've got international ownership group that wants to see some changes, they pay the bills, so they get to make those calls.
Copes, without betraying any confidences or anything, but you had a chance to chat to James Duncan yesterday. Did you or he did you have a sense that something was coming?
Well, he sort of just said to me, look, he didn't feel like there was a lot of confidence in him, but he was high on Jason Kadee because he thought Jason was trying to fix smaller problems within the group, and guys hadn't gelled yet, and hopefully they'll get their stuff together because they'd won 3 out of 4 or 3 games before the break, and then they lost that game to Cairns. So it looked like they were on the rise, and then all of a sudden, this happened. So who knows?
We'll talk more about it at halftime. I want to pose to you at halftime the players and where they sit in this, and perhaps if they should take a bit more responsibility in that. We'll get to that at the half. Hogue, same spot. New Zealand get away with one.
Yeah, they dodged one there because Hogue, we just saw him knock that down. And the thing about Hogue, he's not blistering quick, but he's quick. And he uses his size really well.
He's not as athletic as you would think either, but you're right.
And he just used that size. It makes him really hard to guard because he can get that shot up, particularly that three ball. Even on those closeouts, he's still got that length to be able to let it fly. He's been a great pickup for the Taipans.
Down wide. Vodanovic had his pocket picked by McCall. 7-point lead, a game high right now.
He read that well on the weak side. The idea was right, just trying to swing in the ball and find the extra pass, but McCall read that well.
Vodanovic, cleaner hands that time. Three ball jumps out. 0 of 5 from outside to start the game. Hogue this time up top. Foul. 3 free throws coming. They're having a good couple of minutes here, including this play from McCall.
And that's what he does well. He reads the play quite well, plays great defense. Just coming back from injury, so he's excited to be out there.
There was good recognition on that weak side. The penetration comes in, the defense collapses, and on that kick out, you get into your rotations, and he read it well. He timed it well.
2.8 steals a game to Tajir McCall. One of the league leaders in that category. Hogue shooting a little under 80% from the free throw line. You stack up those numbers pre-game that we looked at, Copes, as you'll get an extra. 5th in the competition for points per game, 3rd for three-point makes, 3rd for blocks, 4th for steals, and he's got the 2nd best plus-minus in the competition. Are they all NBL first team sort of numbers?
Really great pickup for them. Great pickup. And then one thing I love about him is his IQ. You never see him do anything that he shouldn't be doing. Again, he's not as athletic as a lot of 3s and 4s in this league, but he's smart, takes the open shot, and gets guys involved.
And Junior tries his luck from outside. That's a wild one.
Gee, they don't. We saw that even down the other end when McCall comes on, very first shot, spraying up a 3.
Now McCall told to go to work. Pinder came flying in. His athleticism on full show.
For those that are old enough, gee, that looked a lot like Dad. Big tiny Pinder, one of the great rebounders of all time in the NBL.
And the Breakers throw it away.
Sometimes with rebounding, it's effort, it's energy, but there is an instinct for what's happening, and it's not always
he reads the plays well. He knows where that ball is coming off.
Yeah, there's that desire that's there, and clearly with the athleticism and size, but he's, what is it, 10 a game? It's not just luck that you get 10 a game, it's because you've got that determination, but also a feel for it.
It's an 11-0 run that the Taipans are enjoying right now. Jonah Antonio for McCall is fouled. He looked like he was going to kick that into the corner, but he's been able to convince the officials he was shooting.
I'm not so sure. I think he was doing a reverse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
A reverse.
Abercrombie got his money's worth. Vodanovic, I should say, got his money's worth.
I think it was Vodanovic just on the reach in.
TJ Hogue comes out. Lat Mayan in for his first minutes. Majuk Deng, I should say.
And Drew, we spoke to Adam Ford last week, and he was basically saying these guys are just having fun, man. They love each other off the court. Everyone hangs out. And
well, there's a bloke that has fun, Coach. Shaquille O'Neal, what an opportunity that is for someone, courtesy of the good folk at Reebok.
Yes, please. Flights, accommodation, spending money.
Yeah,
it's all included.
He's a real fun guy. You see him on today he was on the telly, on the T, or yesterday on the TNT show, and he had someone threw a turkey in the back of his head. You know, you see a big fella like that just trying to laugh it off, but inside you're thinking, oh my goodness, when this camera's on, this boy's in trouble.
I think he had some fun when he was out here recently too.
Oh, no doubt.
Cairns inbound. They lead by 10. Really put their foot down. The back end of this first quarter. Pinder almost dragged that one in from the front row.
Yeah, because he took off from out of bounds. Then you consider that he needed to get both feet back in before he could leap for that one. And again, it's a little bit better than what we saw in round 4, where New Zealand were held to 5 points, but only got to 9.
Don't count them out yet, though.
No, absolutely. This has been a good defensive effort by the Cairns Taipans. A few missed shots, but Will McDowell-White comes in and just gets things going. First three-pointer made, 1 of 7 now for the Breakers.
An offensive foul against McCall.
Where are you going, McCall?
McDowell-White knocks down the 3 and then gets the stop. Let's get courtside to Jenna O'Hay.
Yeah, really interesting. In the timeout that I was in Cairns, Shannon Scott and Taj Mahal had a very healthy conversation just with some of the defensive rotations, and just watching him trying to fit back into this offense after missing so much basketball. He seems a little out of rhythm, but he seemed really relaxed in the warm-up, so I hope he can have a good game tonight and, you know, really settle into that rotation.
Copes, you're keeping a very close eye on that as well, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jenna.
I know what he brings, and I actually asked 40 about it, and 40 said, look, he's a quality guy. He was in the room when we picked the rest of this team, so we want him around, we need him around, because he's the voice of reason for a lot of things that we do. And that's why we wanted him around.
And that's sometimes what a lot of people miss. They see what's going on the floor, and think, oh, what's going on here? But what they can do in the locker room and how in which they can keep a group together can be just as important as putting points on the board.
Here's McCall backing in on Glidden. Found a way in. That's exactly what Jenna was talking about. That'll be good for his confidence. Find a bucket. He's got 4 points, and Strip Brown Jr. the ball that time as well. Now he sees a path down the lane for an easy 2 that jumps out.
That's just rhythm, timing.
Brantley. As the clock winds down to 10. Likes that move where he can force his way into the paint, use his body and score.
We just got to his spot. Penetrated the spot, simple drop step, and made it look pretty easy.
6-second differential between the game and shot clock. Cairns shot clock is down to 6. Shannon Scott found the diver.
That's amazing. Great pass.
Well, it was. Parton got let down. Parton, they were clearly in a switching action. And when you switch and you don't go underneath and put a little pressure on that roller, and even to add to that, when you slip over, when you're doing it as well, it's gonna...
Somebody's gonna be open.
Great, see the switch, and then there must have been another switch they were trying to get. Might have been Brantley that was supposed to be coming over from that weak side to catch the roller, rather than have the little switch onto the big. But there's a defensive breakdown, an easy 2.
A little under 7 seconds here for the Breakers. Plenty of time to get a good shot away. Brantley threw it up for Parton. How's that for a finish to the first quarter for the Breakers? 23-16 at quarter time. What about this finish?
Beautiful pass. And right exactly where Parton needed it. And he tucks it in with the 2 hands for an easy 2 for the big fella.
2 top 4 teams who have started well. It's Friday Night Hoops at the Cairns Convention Centre. An entertaining start to Friday night basketball at the Cairns Convention Centre. The Taipans leading 23-16 over the Breakers. Leading scorer for Cairns, Keanu Pinder, has 6 to go with his 3 rebounds. And Derek Pardon, Jarrell Brantley have 6 each for the New Zealand Breakers.
It is an entertaining first quarter, I might add as well. And Shannon Scott already got the 4 assists to go along with his 3 points. So good start to him.
This is going up, going up. This could go up.
Only 1 field goal attempt in the opening quarter, Brown. That shot was deflected. Eventually, Derek Pardon kept playing until he drew a foul. What would have pleased Adam Ford most out of that first quarter?
I think the defense.
Yeah.
Although you look at the Breakers and they were 50% from the field, 7 of 14. They were able to contain to the 16 points. They didn't send them to the line, only had the 2 free throws. And I think that when you look at the tempo of this game...
The fact that they only took 14 shots
yes,
is what he's happy about.
That's right. And also the fact that the Cairns Taipans, they've been good second leading scorer in the competition at 87 a game. But to keep the Breakers and in that teens...
And 1 for 7 from the three-point line, they did a really good job of...
You've got to be realistic about what you're capable of doing against a quality team, and they ticked a lot of boxes.
Ben Air out there starting the second quarter, running the point for Cairns. Hogue, Wardenberg out for Air.
They're getting into some trouble when on those on balls. They're coming out and they're not switching. We see a lot of switching with the breaks. That time it wasn't, and the roll-up pass the last couple of on balls from the top has allowed that roll-up either for the roll or the kick-out. So there's the roll-up, and they go, and it's almost like a blitz, but it's not really enough pressure on the ball.
Yeah.
So you either got to show a little bit harder and dig at that ball, or switch.
Get out to that shot, real.
Yeah.
Cairns have picked up 2 fouls inside the opening 50 seconds. Which is far from ideal from them, but they are forcing New Zealand to turn the ball over. That is turnover number 10.
And a lot of that you give credit. There's a few self-inflicted wounds, but a lot of that credit goes to the Cairns Taipans, and they're really pushing them out of their sets and making it tough for the Breakers in that half court.
Hogue over the top of Brantley. That was tough. New Zealand just haven't got their game going as yet.
It's coming, though. It's coming.
Brantley out for Brown. Wide open 3. He's long. 1 of 8 from deep, the Breakers.
We've seen them play like this. They've had halves where it wasn't pretty, and they seem to go into that locker room and come out, and they're a different team. So I just like the balance of New Zealand. I like the fact that they got solid guys in their starting 5, and they got guys coming off the bench.
Cam Glidden.
Glidden, who can flat out shoot the ball.
Well, I think his season so far has been elite for the role that he's been asked to play. His numbers, 52% from the field, 52% from the three-point line in limited minutes, only playing 13 minutes a game. But what he does, and you see it there, the energy that he also can bring on the defensive end. Now, it's not going to light up any stat sheet what he's doing, but it's been really effective.
Liafa with his first field goal attempt, unsuccessful. 9-point lead to the home team. Hogue found the cutter, blocked. Derek Pardon denies it. Brown cuts through to the other end and scores.
And that's what they do. Defense on one end, and they're pushing that ball down your throat on the other.
His second swat of the night, Derek Pardon. Now has the job of guarding Hogue. He lost the ball. Brown Jr. got a hand in and misses from underneath.
That was a case of a player playing for the foul rather than having a greater focus on finishing, and just tried to get it into the body rather than just go up and lay it up.
We've got 2 very animated coaches on the sidelines tonight.
Don't you love it?
Juk Deng doesn't get it to go. It's knocked out of bounds by Cairns.
There's great help coming across, and Pardon with the rim protection.
And Monty Mayor, first season in charge of the Breakers. Was an assistant coach for the 3 years prior.
They're
Just had a baby.
They're both so positive, though. You know, you see, whenever you ask Forty about him getting along with his team, you could tell, you could hear the genuine happiness when this team is playing well and the guys are doing well.
Pretty easy to be happy when you're winning, but I get the point.
Second game of round 8 last night. Adelaide far too good for the Perth Wildcats, 96-82. Scott baseline. Can't finish the layup. Taipans will get another look at it.
Monty Mayor just in the background there, again continuing to express some of his frustrations, and I think he wants to have a bit of a chat about it.
26-19, 6:24 remaining in the opening half, and at halftime we're going to learn a little bit more about Tajir McCall, who in his second season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL made such an impression with Cairns last year. They couldn't wait to get him back for this season.
Basketball, I guess you could say, saved my life besides my parents, just keeping me focused, not falling into what is around me in my environment. You can be different. It's hard, it takes a lot, it's going to take some time. You're going to get the way you're supposed to as long as you're doing the right thing and being genuine to people.
That will be in full coming up shortly at halftime. Do you ever have hair like that, Copes?
I wish. I do wish. Never that long. I do remember hair. It's been a long time, though. It's been a long time. Not happy, Joey. Not happy.
Hey, you're looking sharp, Copes.
Remember the flat cut, the flat top I used to have?
I do.
It would have been 20 years ago. Now I look like this guy.
Without the beard. The Breakers come away from their huddle. Just picking up on Tajir McCall. We're talking earlier about the type of person that he is. Can't think of too many current players in this league who would be allowed to coach their team for a game in the preseason.
That's right. That shows the trust that Forty has in him. And when Forty spoke about him, he said, look, Tajir was in the room with us when we made decisions on imports. So he basically picked this team. So that shows, again, you must like what he brings to the floor. I mean, on and off the floor.
Need to start looking after the basketball, New Zealand. It's the first game this season, as it's knocked out of play. First game this season that New Zealand have had 10 turnovers before half-time. They only average 11.9 a game.
Which is really good to be only have to turn it over 11 times a game. It's a good effort.
Dow White, high off the glass, nice finish.
He's tough.
It's back to 5. The Breakers have made a habit of doing this, of just staying close and being around the mark.
The fouls on the floor. Really aggressive on the defensive end, and that time you saw there was supposed to be an on-ball coming, and Abercrombie just got in the way of Hogan, would not let him get to a point where he could set that screen, and that created that driving lane. But it's the physical nature of the way in which the New Zealand Breakers are going about it. And they're going back to now. You see where they're switching, so that's the problem you've got. So unless
they're in the zone, they look like they're in the zone. There.
No, they were just switching all the on balls, and they had a mismatch down low with the Alpha just trying to guard Pinder, but they weren't able to recognise it.
Breakers beat the trap. Liafa, knockdown 3. Back to a 2-point game.
Right back in it.
They scored the last 7, New Zealand, and they're having their moment.
Solid. Great, better second quarter for New Zealand.
Adam Ford trying to search for a few answers.
What's really the only turnovers, it's been that thing that's brought them undone. 10 turnovers. And tidy that up a little bit, get a bit more control. And you see what they, in that half-court game, they haven't looked as efficient as they would like. And the last 5 minutes or so, it's been able to open up with some transition baskets to try and get that scoreboard ticking over a little easier. Again, they get a mismatch down low, and they tried to get the angle for it. And this is where the switching can be effective.
It can be, but again,
just
that's the part
passing.
I don't like about Cairns. When one guy has the ball, if you swing that ball, a little bit of movement from side to side.
Well, I think they're trying to, Coach, but he just threw it out of bounds.
The Arthur crosses over. And the kick out for Brantley. Again gets to that spot. That time unsuccessful. 10 on the shot clock for the Breakers. Brantley in plenty of space.
Wow.
Gets it to go. The Breakers are in front by 1.
I told you they were coming back. He's tough.
He's wide open, and they had time to be able to get their matchups right. The ball bubbles up back over the center line, and one pass, and he's wide open for a 3.
Shannon Scott made the basketball look like a cake of soap as it slipped out of his hands. But Dow White threw it up there for Pardon. A 12-0 run for the Breakers.
They seem to enjoy it. They love it.
There's a lot to like about it. There's that wide open one. Brantley, when there was plenty of time to get some matchups, and you've got to know who you need to pay attention to, and just pretty happy with his own work as well. And this is just a beautiful pass. A little 2-on-1 game, and just throws it up there, and another easy 2 to Pardon.
New Zealand leading by 3. Moti Maor has been fascinating viewing in his post-match press conferences so far this season, but he's just had a baby, and well, after last weekend, couldn't help but notice he was getting a little philosophical.
Becoming a parent or having a new child to join your family is a moment where you, at least for me, find myself thinking about who I am as a human, how you're going to be a parent, and how you can bring in a new life into the world and hopefully have a good, productive human being. And you kind of take stock of things. And the feeling that I came out of taking stock was a very deep sense of gratefulness that I get to embark on this journey and on this challenge with these people. Utmost trust between me to them, that they will give me everything, give the club money, everything they got, every time we meet. And as a coach, I don't think you can ask for more.
Smooth.
No, you can't.
Smooth, bro.
It is, and it's also the reality is sometimes when you get caught into this NBL bubble when you're a coach, and we've seen the pressure of that already this week and what it can bring, and going that week to week of being happy when you win and sad when you lose, and it's a tough way to live your life, and sometimes you do need a little perspective, and having a kid can bring that perspective.
You know who's a bit calmer, who I love as a coach, is Scott Roth, because he never gets too high on a win, and he's never too low on a loss. He just keeps it.
Well, he's looked pretty high after some of those wins, and he's pumping his fist, and he's enjoying it with the crowd.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's good.
I love the fact that it's more than just a game to him. It's about the team, and it's about the players, and it's about their lifestyle.
Big thanks to Latrobe Financial for a guaranteed $50,000 giving away this season for the Latrobe Financial Legends. The details are on your screen to get involved. Speaking of legends, let's get to Jenna O'Hay courtside.
Thank you. I was just in the Taipans timeout, and never the positivity of 40. He said those turnovers are okay. He wants the players to roll really hard on those switches to really punish New Zealand when they're switching, and to keep movement. He says offensively they're too stagnant.
Young time.
Say that, didn't we? Yes.
WNBL champion Jenna O'Hay courtside with us tonight.
Well, they're also 1 of 7 from the free throw line.
Yeah. I know my 40 might be too nice talking about the turnovers are okay.
Scott almost gave that one up as well. Pinder can't finish off the glass. Has 6 points. Derek Parton doing his job, has 9. Brantley bit off a little bit more than he could chew that time down the floor.
Jeez, I reckon there's something that should have been called there.
It's a 12-0 run for New Zealand. Right now, Cairns went on an 11-0 run in the first quarter. New Zealand controlling quarter number 2. Shannon Scott trying to marshal the troops. Wardenberg tries his luck for 3. It goes.
Why not?
It wasn't pretty, but it counts. Taipans tie this game up at 29. Parton, a monster on the glass, gets that ball back for New Zealand. Abercrombie gets his own rebound. The 5th offensive board of the night, the Breakers. McDowell wide again up for Parton. He draws a hard foul.
Well, here's Wardenberg. Looks like they're gaining the switching action. Parton goes underneath, and Abercrombie's too far off to make that switch and contest, and rattles in. You see Parton at the top of the screen going, hey, what are we doing here? We're supposed to be switching. And that's probably the advice he's getting. We're in switch, Tommy.
Tommy goes, I've been out there all year, man. I'm confused. I missed one.
Pinder comes to the bench.
Well, collectively between these two teams, they're 3 of 11 from the free throw line. No, they're 3 of 12 combined. Honestly,
it's not going to get it done, bro.
It ain't that hard.
No.
Parton makes the second. No burgers for Taipans fans.
I think there'll be burgers though if we shouldn't.
Breakers lead by 1. They did trail by as much as 9 at the back end of that first quarter. Duke Deng unsuccessful. Less than 2 minutes before half-time. Parton was cannoned into by Deng, and he's a bit sore. Knocked that ball out of bounds. 15 on the shot clock.
Looks like, looked like a bit of contact there.
Just a little bit.
Breakers inbound. Brown Jr. running the point. Kick it back to him at the top.
Oh, he's going up.
Got into the lane. A nice look from there. It doesn't stick. And it'll be a New Zealand ball.
Brown, 1 for 7. Not shooting the ball well, but that's not going to stop him from getting it up.
There he is, combines with Parton. Blocked over the back by Hogue. Taipans need a spark.
Do they ever?
Hogue's 3 ball is locked.
6 points in the quarter. It's really, they feel pretty fortunate to only be a point down at this stage. Make that 3. But they're having all sorts of problems fighting at the bottom of the net, the Cairns Taipans.
Pass chopped off. 6 points in the second quarter.
Wow. You find that when you have two defensive teams, though. They run you out of your stuff both ends of the floor, so.
Scott ran into a brick wall. Liafa stood his ground and didn't give away a foul. Brantley, extra pass for Derek Pardon.
Love it, don't you love it?
It is, and it was a beautiful find on the extra pass. Well, there's an example, perhaps like you're saying, Coach, just enjoying it. Here's this one, and either just the recognition
beautiful pass
of the big fella coming down and the two-hand stuff.
Derek Pardon on the back of double-doubles in 3 of his last 4 games. In fact, his last 4 games, he's on track for another one. He's got 12 points and 8 rebounds in the opening half.
He's a machine. And scoring a lot more now, but overall, I just love the way he plays defense, and he galvanizes that team. Pick and rolls, he's got his hands out, you know, he's deflecting passes, he's back with his man, he's blocking shots, he's tough.
And for whatever reason, the Cairns Taipans are struggling at home. 2 of the lowest scores are 2 of the 3 home games they've played this season.
Pardon makes the and 1. This is New Zealand's biggest lead of the game now, 6 points. They've got it out to. Before today, Cairns' lowest scoring second quarter was 13. They're going to be well under. Shot clock and game clock almost in unison. Qual, he's fouled.
Not a smart foul at all.
Spot on, didn't need to do it. Struggling from the three-point line. He had.
But although they are struggling from the free throw line too, so who knows?
Brantley got that length and can just use the arm. Didn't need to go that tight.
And 2 points tonight for Bull Qual, averaging 10.5 a game. The reigning NBL Rookie of the Year. We expected this one to be tight. There's going to be nothing between these two at the main break.
All depends on who comes out the second half and plays the smarter basketball. Less turnovers, make their shots.
Three of 3 from the stripe there from Bull Qual. Timeout called by the Breakers with 2.5 seconds left to try and draw something up here.
Well, you can't carry him over, so if you've got one spare, might as well have a timeout and see if we can draw up something. It's going to require at least a half-court pass to get a decent shot, you would think, and have someone flying by.
Who are they looking for?
Well, I think you're looking for something from the perimeter with only 2.5 seconds from all the way from one end to the other. You're looking for a catch. The thing you don't want to do is pass it with such a risky pass that also gives Cairns a chance to catch it and go the other way. So usually these types of plays will come with a deep catch and then some action coming from either side to try and hit a
back screens or something like that.
Back screen or even just a cutting action. But the key here, if you can, is just keep people in front of you. Keep them in front.
And don't foul.
And don't foul.
Tajir McCall, second game back, still trying to feel his way back into this team, as Jenna said earlier. Tough thing to do because they were winning when he wasn't there. He's got 4 points on 2 of 7. Cairns have 2.5 seconds. Abercrombie pulls the trigger from deep. It's a 3-point lead to the Breakers at halftime. They turned the corner in a big, big way. Went on an 18-3 run to finish the half. You're watching Friday Night Hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Plenty more to come.
McCall, athletically, lets off another 2, so he's got 15 now.
I've been in the G League, I've been overseas, I've been around some great basketball players. I have great basketball friends and trainers, so I've kind of picked up a lot of things and just learned a lot from my adversity.
3 seconds left, he got plenty of time. McCall with the jam.
In Philadelphia, if you play basketball, you're kind of safe from a lot of other things that go on. Like, it kind of keeps you out of trouble, keeps you busy, you make new friends. And so that was kind of my escape that got me to college to leave Philly, because a lot of people don't leave Philly, but playing basketball helped me get out of Philly.
Look at McCall, dances into the paint and puts a lid on 2.
The adversity you go through on the court in Philly is a lot different than other places. Like, it's tough. You gotta have something to you, some grit, some heart, something that's more than just basketball. And so that's kind of built me for who I am.
Because McCall goes coast to coast.
Taj, the NBA dream, is still alive in his late 20s. Great.
Great pass, great finish to Keanu Pinder.
Everything that he does in a sense of establishing the culture and work ethic, that's worth a couple of threes. Hell yeah, let's go. And this is us developing him because he's helping develop the whole program.
Basketball, I guess you could say, saved my life besides my parents, just keeping me focused, not falling into what is around me in my environment. You can be different. It's hard, it takes a lot, it's gonna take some time. You're gonna get to where you're supposed to as long as you're doing the right thing and being genuine to people.
Come on, man, come on.
It's half time in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Never a dull moment with these two. So we just sort of learned a little bit more about Tajir McCall, who I think, as we've spoken about in the broadcast tonight already, has become a pretty crucial part for Cairns, both on and off the floor.
My word, he has. And you can tell by the way Fordy speaks about him and some of the comments that we've heard over the journey of the appreciation that he has of not what he does, just what he does on the floor, but off the floor. But to me, he's this guy that's so versatile. He can get to the rim, he can find his teammates. The jump shot still got a little bit of work to do. But reminds me a lot of Rashad Tucker. Remember Rashad Tucker that used to play out here? Very much like him, and the versatility, and can, on any given day, he can come out with 10 plus boards. So he's a great asset to have. Missed a bit of basketball. Better days are ahead for him with the Cairns Taipans.
So the story of this game so far has the New Zealand Breakers leading by 3. They were down at quarter time, Copes, won the second quarter 19-9.
They did, and it was that man on camera right there, Parton, who went to work, played great defense, blocking shots, got the ball inside, and scored a lot of baskets. Alley-oop passes from the guards, but he was magnificent for the second quarter.
And down the other end, it was the Cairns Type. Parton was just been spectacular. Like you say, they can throw it up there at around anywhere around 11 feet, and he'll go find it for you. And you can see the way in which he runs the floor as well. He's just been a great find, and with the 13 points, 5 or 7, 8 boards, 2 blocks, he's been all over the place. And I think that when you look at this game where scoring has been a premium,
7 shots is not enough.
It's the efficiency of which he can do it as well.
He's had double-doubles in 3 of his last 4 games, and he looks headed there tonight as well. Second half not too far away. We spoke about it earlier, the news of the day. Quite significant news for the Brisbane Bullets and the parting of ways with their coach, James Duncan, effective immediately. The reaction has been really interesting to watch today from fans, from analysts, from everyone's had their opinion. Players, which we'll get to in a minute. Sam McKinnon, the general manager of basketball, will coach the team on Sunday. What do you think, gentlemen? What have you made of this today yourselves?
I think the timing of it is really tough. It's tough on James Duncan. It's tough on the organisation. It's also very, very tough on Sam McKinnon as well to come in, and you've got a game this weekend. Might only get 1 day's practice, so there's not a lot he's going to be able to do. He's going to rely on his assistants, and I think he'd be keeping a lot of the systems that were in place, and then just trying to tweak maybe some of the rotations. I spoke to him today, and there are also a couple of injury concerns. So the news is not all great coming out of Brisbane, but sometimes a little change like this can really jolt the players, and they've still got some enormous talent. So I don't think you can write this season off. And in fact, they're not writing it off. This action speaks that they felt like they've got enough to be a contender, and they needed a change.
Mention the reaction, including some of the players within the league here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Here's DJ Vasiljevic, who jumped on social media and put his thoughts forward.
Man, he's not. He will let you know what he's thinking, and look, good on him for saying it. But I just think, at the end of the day, Duncan, and we spoke to Duncan yesterday, and he sort of said that the support's been great, but he's got a lot of support from Gorgon and Scott Roth, and those 2 guys have really, been in touch with him beforehand to let him know he's doing a good job. So I sort of feel bad for him.
We'll see the Bullets on Sunday as they take on the New Zealand Breakers, who lead at halftime in this one, 35-32. You're watching the Hungry Jacks NBL. Half-time here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, and with thanks to Latrobe Financial, you could win your way to $50,000. Here are some of the shots that we're getting sent in from around the country. I'm assuming that these are all first takes, aren't they?
No, nah, it takes a little time.
Don't be negative, you.
No, I'm just telling you what it is.
So what are the rules here? How do we win the 50?
You
Come
can't
online,
win it, Daisy.
nbl.com.au/legends.
Okay.
You can't win.
I can't.
No. Terms and conditions, my friend. Terms and conditions. 35-32. The New Zealand Breakers are leading the Cairns Taipans at half-time. What did New Zealand do better in quarter number 2?
Well, what they did is they were able to contain the Cairns Taipans, and Cairns with the 5 turnovers in a quarter is never going to be helpful. And just blanket them, they couldn't score. The Cairns Taipans just with well, in fact, only made one field goal, and it was a 3-point field goal made.
That's more like it.
There's a better start at finding a way into the paint to get a better look.
Cairns are the #1 team in the NBL for scores in the third quarter. They averaged 24.5 points in Q3. They'll need all of that here. Liafa, beautiful kick-out pass from McDowell White. That's how to play.
It's 2 good looks. Can't afford to give them looks like that because they will eventually knock them down, but
It's quite extraordinary when you think of that quarter. Sam Wardenberger, the 3-pointer with the Cairns, and it was the only score they had in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Wow. I mean, that is outrageous and speaks volumes for what the New Zealand Breakers were doing out there on the defensive end.
Turnover, a sloppy one as well from Bull Qual. Brantley playing with them.
Jesus Christ. That's a great pass.
Yeah, it is. It's too easy too. Getting into the paint, they're just throwing it up to him.
How many of those have you had all game?
Nice finish by Keanu Pinder. Has 10 points to go with 3 rebounds. The battle of the bigs. Jenna O'Hay highlighted at pre-game. Pinder's got 10. Pardon, the leading scorer in the game with 15. Liafa buries a deep one.
That's 3 wide open looks, 1 going down. You can't afford to let them shoot the ball like that. Eventually they will go down.
2 of 4 from outside tonight. Former Southeast Melbourne Phoenix guard. His first season playing for the Breakers.
Where they haven't been great tonight. 4 of 18 from the 3-point line. The last couple of rounds, Izzy Liafa. And there's the Amy replay. Beautiful work in the way in which they were able to move the ball.
Shot clock at 2 for Scott. Breakers take the rebound and are told to get up the floor quickly.
How they swing that ball.
It's an offensive foul. McCall steps in and takes the charge.
We ran the risk because you see these on balls up the top. The one before that, he went underneath, and Alpha's just made one. And
a little bit of acting there, maybe.
There's definitely a little bit of that, no doubt about it. But in the right position, sliding the feet, got the reward.
Second versus third on the ladder.
Turnovers are just
starting to creep in for Cairns now as well. It's been a problem for New Zealand.
Swing it.
Brantley puts it back in, and Adam Ford has seen enough. Some worrying signs to start this third quarter for Cairns. This is a well-oiled New Zealand Breakers team, and they're playing that way since quarter time. Let's get into the Cairns huddle. Mirko Jeric not out there tonight, unfortunately making his way back from injury. Mirko, what needs to change for your boys right now?
I think just the attitude after every turnover or every sort of run they make. We're just a bit lethargic, but you know, we can fix it. We know that we can turn around very quickly, but we can't rely on our offense. You know, it is a low-scoring game. It is a tough grind against New Zealand every time, but once we find that rhythm, we'll be fine.
And Mirko, we're looking at the stats here, and 4 of your lowest scores have come in this venue now. Well, halves have come in this venue for whatever reason. It seems like you play with a little bit more freedom on the road and very tight, and in this one here as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why, but we're not repaying our fans for coming to watch the games, that's for sure. But, you know, hopefully we can turn it around and, you know, just start making these shots.
Mirko, when are you back?
I'm hoping against Adelaide, so December 2nd. Yeah, that's the plan for now.
Mirko, just before we let you go, we've been talking a lot tonight about Tajir McCall and what he brings, not just to the team, but to the entire Cairns franchise and community. What is he like as a teammate?
Yeah, he's very energetic, very loud. You know, really tries to get us going. You can see that by just how he plays on the court. You know, and he tries to lead by, on defense. Obviously, he's a very, very good one-on-one defender. You know, so I think he can shut down anyone in the league.
Hopefully we'll see you back next week. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Mirko Jarrett out through injury at the moment.
He can get it up.
(42-36) and Pardon. I don't like that. Cannons into McCall. The replay will be interesting on that one. We'll get back to that. Let's get down to Jenna O'Hay courtside.
One of my least favourite plays, that one. But in that timeout, Adam Ford, he loves the way that the Cairns Taipans play. He doesn't want to change that. Turnovers are going to happen, but he doesn't want them to stop. He wants them to get back onto the defensive end. He wants them to play freely. He wants them to shoot open shots. So to keep going at the well.
Jeez, I hate that play.
So does Jenna.
Well, I think we all do, because it's one where in transition you just stop in front of a guy, and technically it might be correct, but I'd like to see that one go unwhistled.
Wait.
Not sure we want to encourage that either, do we?
Nah, because someone end up getting hurt.
Yep. Now Hogue, nice spin. No foul called. Only has 4 points for the game, DJ Hogue. Well down on his season average. Now for misses.
Just get a sense that the Cairns, they're just hanging on here. And New Zealand, just a couple, and have been able to put them away or create a bit more separation. And then just like that, a simple drive to the rim, and they get that scoreboard ticking over again.
He's been pretty solid. 4 for 4 from the field. He needs more shots.
Averaging 10 points a game. Sam Wardenberg, 3 rebounds as well. First season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Abercrombie, it's not his first season. He's been doing that for a long time.
And if you're going to send that double team, you've got to have a lot of hands on that ball. It was a great kick-out pass by Pardon to pass out of the double team.
Luckily for Cairns, they'll get this ball back. Will McDowell-White, 5 assists for the night. Number 6 in the competition in that stat. Into for 3. We've seen a lot of that this season.
And you can see Pardon's positioning there. They're going to let him take that. Now, he can knock him down. It's not like he's terrible from there, but they'd prefer that than having him putting it on the floor and getting to the rim.
Nice block by Scott. Followed Brown Jr. all the way in. Brantley, look at that defensive hustle.
Just scrappy.
Wins it back for New Zealand, and then Brown with the Euro inside.
Just too casual with it. 3 or 4 turnovers already in this quarter by the Taipans. And it's just good hands and contest on the ball. Leads to those turnovers.
If you're going purely off body language right now,
doesn't look good for Cairns.
The Breakers are a mile in front. Cairns are completely locked up since quarter time. Scott's long ball no good. Nice touch by Pinder.
Here's the steal. Hogue's in there and just no concept, and
just saw it in the left-hand corner of the screen. Brantley's reaction after it as well. They're engaged.
They're having fun. That's a part of it. You're winning, you're playing good basketball. Any play you react, he's out there enjoying himself.
They're competing harder right now.
Qual and Abercrombie get caught up.
While complaining that he hooked me, that is Abercrombie. Little off the ball action. Sometimes a Cajun veteran can do things that looks like someone's holding.
Yep.
But you're actually the instigator. Now, I didn't see that. Maybe we'll see it on the replay later, but it was the vets know how to get those types of calls.
Brantley sent packing by Wardenberg. Pinder involved as well. The Taipans, we take another look at this block. Have won more games from behind at halftime than any other team this year. They've won 3 of their 4 games when they've been trailing, Copes. They're going to need to do it again tonight.
Absolutely.
Well, the tempo which they're playing, they're getting nothing cheap, they're walking it up, and you saw early on when they were playing with a bit more pace, and pace both end to end, but also in the half court, the way in which they can swing the ball and get some action in the half court. Tempo just hasn't been there, and a lot of that's because of the breakers and their defense as Brown works his way to the free throw line. He's played 11 minutes. He's already got up 10 shots, and his first trip to the free throw line is 3 of 10 from the field.
That's not a lot of shots, guys.
10 in 11 minutes.
Well,
that's a fair ratio, Coach.
I played with a guy who
don't know
I played with a guy who would have had 12, 14 shots in those 11 minutes.
No, bro.
He's led their scoring in 5 of their last 6 games.
He's good, though. He's good at what he does.
All coming off the bench.
He's good at what he does.
And that's his role. And that's what he's out there to do. And it's part of the way in which the other guys know what he's supposed to do as well. And
they find him in his spots. They give him the ball. They want him. He's a microwave. Oh, nice offensive foul there. Push him in the stand.
Chris Reed
5, blocking foul.
delaying the call, and it's a foul on Brown Jr. first for a block.
I missed that.
oh,
What? What?
Oh my goodness, that might be challengeable. I would have thought.
What?
Maybe they're thinking. I guess they're assuming there was a little push with the chest first, but
where?
From this angle, it doesn't look like it. It's the other angle that maybe you can get the benefit of the doubt, but that's a lucky one for the Taipans.
Brown Jr. ended up in the front row. Ben Air back in. They desperately need some sort of spark, something to happen for them. Now they're into double figures for turnovers, the Taipans. And a lot of them have come since quarter time. Vodanovic puts the ball on the floor. Won't get the job done. Jonah Antonio. Short as well. Pinder kept it alive. Second chance bucket for the Taipans. They needed that.
He's been tough.
It's like pulling teeth on the offensive end for the Taipans, and you finally get one to fall.
McCall playing for the steal. He's whistled for the foul.
Well, I do like the way he worked over and fought through the little curl cut and tried to get up in the lanes. And we need to see this when you're really struggling to put points on the board. They only had 8 in this quarter, 9 in the second. It's one where you like to try and generate some offense from your defense, get some steals, get some cheap baskets in transition. They just haven't had the opportunity to do it.
Third foul for McCall. Sam Wardenberg, their leading scorer, checks out. Majuk Deng back in. Brown Jr. for 3.
One fan in the house.
11-point lead for New Zealand. A game-high margin right now. Alarm bells are ringing for the Taipans. They found a way in the end. It wasn't pretty. As we get a bit of sweat off the floor. Adam Ford pacing the sidelines. They've only won 3 in a row under Adam Ford once, the Cairns Taipans. They've got the chance to make it 3 in a row tonight for only their 2nd time ever under Coach Ford. Modi Mayora, I think there's another button that's come undone since the first half.
Still looking smooth, though.
This game up for grabs. McDowell White, nice take.
Great pass, good drive.
Back out to 11 again. The Breakers are getting what they want at the offensive end and forcing tough looks at the other. Antonio with a hand in the face.
Well, he's another one that's got that role when he comes in. He doesn't play a lot, but it's instant offense, and that's what he does. And missed his first one, didn't back down from it, and let it fly. Wow, that hurts when you hit one. You're trying to build some momentum. You hit that 3 ball and straight back at you. Brown.
We're starting to heat up.
Pinder misses. Antonio and Brown wrestle. Here's the back-to-back threes. First Antonio.
And that's a tough look out there. You see Brown's reaction and just too much space. Worried about, just tries to, says a little bit of shush, please. Not sure we're ready for that, are we?
He's not shy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You can back it up, bro.
No, he can. There's no doubt about that. He's been instant offense and will not back down. 5 of 12, 13 points.
Cairns led by 7 at quarter time. Have only scored 22 points since that quarter time break. Brown Jr. is tough.
He's starting to feel it now. Is that 8 straight for him? 2 threes and a 2. That's, yeah.
There's no secret about what he's going to do either.
A 13-point margin as we head towards 3-quarter time. McCall trying to force it. Alpha not happy with the call, but free throws for the Taipans.
That's just McCall forcing it. Now, they run a little bit of action, and then it's just so stagnant. You got 4 out wide, and there's the hold that brought him undone. It's that left hand. At the end, it's all clean. Just stripped it from him. It's the hold with the left was where the foul was.
I don't like that offense.
And this season, with thanks to MG, we're giving away a brand new MG ZS EV electric car valued at $44,990. You can enter now with the details on your screen.
All sorts of government subsidies going along with that as well. I mean, they'll be basically driving it out for free. It's a magnificent vehicle.
You think he wants one?
No,
sounds like it, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm really keen on that electric arrangement. There's some defense up the floor as well. That there's a foul, but I like it. Trying to change this tempo for Cairns. Get up and in, ball pressure, just coming down, repeating what they're doing. There's a comfort level on the offensive end now for New Zealand that would be concerning for the Cairns Taipans. Got to get more aggressive, and I like what Ayres doing, or did.
They've had 14 turnovers in the game, New Zealand. At times have been a little careless. Pass. Extra pass. Liafa, and then the swing to Brantley. Loose ball to be won. The shot clock beats New Zealand. It was unsuccessful that time, but the way that ball moves.
Shows trust.
And also, there's an unselfishness about it as well.
Good for great. Pete Hooley talks about that a lot. Ding. Tip in and then a finger in the eye. Which I'm not sure he was all that pleased with. 58-49. Three-quarter time is upon us. Brantley has the size advantage over Jonah Antonio. It jumps out. 3 seconds for Cairns. McCall from halfway. Got it!
Okay.
The plot thickens. Tajir McCall with a half-court bomb on the stroke of three-quarter time.
Well, these are little moments when you're looking for something to turn the game. Little spark like this, a prayer is thrown up and it's answered. Pretty sure he didn't call back, but it still counts for 3.
It's back to 6 with a quarter to play at the Cairns Convention Centre. Six-point game at three-quarter time at the Cairns Convention Centre. There is the last play of the third quarter. Tajir McCall banks one home from halfway. And as much as they've been struggling since quarter time,
they're still in this.
It's a winnable game for Cairns.
It's a winnable game. They are still in this thing. They just got to play a little bit smarter. Don't turn the ball over. Knock down open shots. And on the defensive end, they can't give New Zealand the open shot.
Hogue, Scott, Deng, Wardenberg and McCall on the floor to start the final quarter for Cairns. Pardon, Brantley, Liafa, Brown Jr. and Abercrombie.
For the last 3 minutes, including that last made shot, just scoring started to become a little easier. And there's a travel. And there was some good signs that last 3 or 4 minutes of the quarter. They can take some confidence in that good three-quarter time break. Not the ideal start, but the more scoreboard pressure they can put on, the more they can engage the fans and try and see if New Zealand can get tight. Will help their cause.
The numbers do not lie for the New Zealand Breakers. They are the best fourth quarter team in the competition by so far. You can kick your hat. Brantley,
and that's
for
why.
2.
He's so smart.
We'll get back to that in a moment. Let's get to Jenna O'Hay courtside.
Yeah, I was in the Breakers three-quarter time huddle, and he said it's very, Cairns make big shots, but don't get too high or too low with that. And just down on the baseline here, and Will McDowell-White is getting some treatment on his back. He's a bit ginger. I think all the travel is starting to catch up on him.
They have had a lot of travel this year.
He's a baby. How old is he? 16, 15?
16.
He's a baby.
He's 24.
All right, I don't know. He's still a baby compared to us.
There he is, Will McDowell-White.
Come on, young fella, suck it up.
So the Breakers are #1 for points scored in the fourth quarter. They average 24.5 and only concede 16 points in fourth quarters.
Fantastic.
Well, it hasn't helped their cause in this fourth. 2 turnovers to start it. McCall with their travel, and that time an offensive foul on Wardenberg.
Brown Jr. looks for Brantley. Foul over the back. Abercrombie getting his money's worth on DJ Hogue.
Hogue's been pretty quiet this game so far.
6 attempts, Copes. 1 of 6.
He's too important.
Well, Hogue's
not
also
to have 10 shots, at least.
In the half court, he's been good, but also when they push it, they get out in transition, and that first 8 seconds. But because the New Zealand D-Trans has been good, he hasn't been able to get as many looks as what he normally would be accustomed to.
Just look here for Scott. He's 1 of 5. Both teams have had a pretty tough night shooting from outside. Pardon, been in there for a while, blocked by Wardenberg. Scott coast to coast, he's stripped of it. Taipans ball from the baseline. They haven't won 2 in a row in Cairns, New Zealand, since 2013.
Wow. Long time.
Great opportunity for them tonight.
So both these teams were, say, in the losing category last year.
Bottom 2 teams.
Bottom 2 teams.
It's never happened before after 7 rounds that the bottom 2 teams are in the top 4 after round 7.
Some pretty decent additions when you think of the personnel that both teams have been able to make.
Two more for Scott. Breakers have clamped down defensively since quarter time.
Well, the first 4 plays, they've gone to this action and trying to get a post up. It's a simple cross screen with a down screen.
Simple, that's the key. It's simple.
It is simple and not a lot of continuity through it, so they've identified what they're trying to do and play out of that low post. And Cairns have been pretty good at dealing with it, really fighting, trying to front the low post to not allow the catch.
Brantley. Out for Liafa, deep 3. Putting back at home. Cairns almost gave it back. Pinder had Wardenberg running the lane. He wanted a foul. He's still not happy about it, the Kiwi, but 62-56. The Breakers lead on Friday Night Hoops. And again, we're back to 6 points the margin.
Well, Cairns are playing smart basketball now, coming down, getting Wardenberg the ball 6 for 7. I still think he needs more shots. He's been solid all night.
But also, you've seen what we were talking about a little bit earlier is when they get out in that transition, even if it's a semi-transition, putting some heat on the rim early and some good interior passing. And that time, Wardenberg just filling the lanes in the right place at the right time. A little cut through the middle. Thought he got fouled. And still, it's just feel like it's a heavy lifting for the Cairns Taipans out there. Nothing coming easy, but they're only trail it by 6.
Six-point lead for the New Zealand Breakers as they play to make it win number 6 on the road of 7 this season. There's DJ Hogue. His last score was a free throw with 3 minutes 30 left in the first quarter.
He's got to get more involved. They got to get him involved, or he's got to take it upon himself to even get a shot up sometimes when you're struggling to get a shot, you tend to take a bad shot to get yourself going, but get him a post up or run him off a screen or something so he feels a part of it.
It's the longest game this season without a score from him. Counter a timeout, sloppy turnover. Scott, great pass. Good things are happening when Shannon Scott's touching the ball.
Absolutely.
And just again, when they're out there and even in that semi-transition, that early part of the offense, that first 8 to 10 seconds, and then there's just a weak side action and a collision on the weak side between two Breakers players, made it easier for McCall. And if you're watching this game, the eye test would say the Breakers should have a nice 10, 12-point lead, but it's a 4-point ball game.
Score the last 4.
I honestly think it's going to come down to whoever protects the ball.
27 turnovers for the game. New Zealand have 15 of them. Abercrombie with his feet set.
That's tough.
They've got so many weapons, so many guys that have the capacity to do that. It does test your defense and your determination on every catch, every play.
2 of 4 from outside tonight. Wardenberg's been good.
Good recognition. There they had the switch, and that time they penalise it. Good roll. And Wardenberg's size and recognition to get it to him. Works his way to the free throw line.
Seeing some really nice gradual improvement from Sam Wardenberg. His first season, as we mentioned, first professional contract coming off a college career with the University of Miami.
Played with DJ, didn't he? He played with DJ Simovich.
Yep.
And decent numbers, I think around 10 points a game in his senior year. And that is certainly no cupcake league when you think of college basketball.
Yeah.
Playing the ACC.
Yeah, stuff.
Night in, night out, playing big schools, big programs, and some really good players.
The New Zealander playing against the Breakers tonight, born in Auckland. Turnover. Scott lays it up. It's back to 3, and the Taipans have got some energy. And very nearly came up with it again.
They're tentative, and this extended pressure is really, they're starting their offensive set in not ideal positions. It's really spreading the floor and to get into any sort of action. And
there's the one New Zealand Breaker fan in the house at the Cairns Convention Centre.
Having a ball.
She's brave. She might have the last laugh if things keep going New Zealand's way. Shot clock at 7. Pinder reaching in.
Well, I love the action. Adam Ford's having a fair go on the weak side. He wanted a 3-second call. But I like, you see the change they've made. They're not switching, they're coming and they're blitzing. That on ball, they're blitzing the little Barry and making it hard for him to pass out of it. And that time there, when it's so high up, it gives you a little bit more time to get those rotations if they're able to pass out of it.
And get a steal, yeah.
And missed free throws. Not a good free throw night for either team. 8 of 14 for the Taipans. And the Breakers, 5 of 10, make that 5 of 11. And burgers all over the place for the state of Queensland. And a nice juicy cheeseburger at that.
What's the code word, Drew?
Jersey. Type it in there and get your freebies.
Scott for 2, it's a 1-point game.
Turn ahead. All of a sudden, the Breakers are the ones that really struggling to find points.
Brown Jr.'s runner doesn't go. Baseline ball for the visitors. They've just done enough, Cairns, to be in the hunt at the back end of this game.
Hanging around.
That's right. There was times we got out to 13, 11, around that mark, and the Breakers just couldn't extend it to change the whole mindset of the Cairns Taipans. They're always in that touch, and this aggressive defense they're coming out here with in the last quarter has really kick-started their offense.
12 points to 5 in this fourth quarter. Abercrombie falling away. That is tough. Cairns come down the floor to take the lead off this possession. Pinder was like a runaway train. He's lost a shoe as well. Brantley drives, doesn't finish. Cairns keep Pardon off the glass.
Brown's lost his shoe.
Hogue for three. Oh, just misses. We need to pick that shoe up.
Was in and out too. That would have lifted the roof off the joint, and this is what happens. You got the home team coming from behind, the momentum going their way, fans start to get engaged. And really good effort since three-quarter time, and the way in which they've been able to change it with their energy levels on the defensive end. That's allowed them these opportunities on the offensive end.
There's always going to be a close game win.
4 minutes, 19 remaining. New Zealand second on the ladder, 8 wins and 3 losses. Cairns third on the ladder, 6 wins and 3 losses. Both teams will play again this round. New Zealand playing Sunday at home to the Brisbane Bullets. And on Monday, the Cairns Taipans and the Sydney Kings do battle. If the Taipans win that one, it'll be first versus second. Brantley. No good. Liafa wide open for three.
Huge three.
I spoke about those wide open threes. You can't afford to leave them open.
It comes off the rebound, and
Absolutely.
they're the hardest ones. The kick out, the extra pass, Liafa straight on 3 ball. Brantley's had some good looks, and only 1 of 7 from the 3-point line.
He's got 15 points for the night to go with 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and in a low-scoring struggle, he has a plus-minus of 10, which is the best of any player out there tonight.
He's strong, man. I love the way that he gets himself involved. He posts. He knows he's a lot bigger and stronger than most guys guarding him, so he takes that ball down to the box, and he's active defensively as well.
It's just those 1 or 2 wider or relatively open threes that he's missed that wouldn't have made this game look a whole lot even more spectacular. He's been very, very good with those 15 points, 7 of 16.
Here's his journey to the Hungry Jacks NBL. Went to college at Charleston, was picked number 50 in the 2019 NBA draft. Was all NBA G League first team, then spent some time in Russia. After that, back to the G League to play with the Greensboro Swarm, and then a season in Puerto Rico. He has been an outstanding addition for the Breakers and a great addition for this league.
Well-traveled, let's just say his passport has plenty of stamps in it.
Well, it's the combination of these 3 imports that I think helps all of them. They help each other.
68-64, Jenna O'Hay courtside.
Yeah, really simple message from 40 that it's defense and then pace. He said he called that timeout just for a little breather, and they're going to finish this game strong.
3 minutes 55 left. Thank you, Jenna. New Zealand by 4. Pardon forced Pinder into a tough one. Arthur. Hands off to Brown Jr. Driving. Lays it up with the left hand.
Little machine, isn't he? He goes to work. He is the
top 5 in the competition for fourth quarter points, Barry Brown Jr. They give him the ball late. he seals the deal. Brantley gets it to go this time.
They make a run and they have a timeout, the Breakers, and could not have asked for a better response. A couple of threes and the penetrating drive by Brown really just calms the nerves a little bit. Here's Brantley, that one in the corner for a guy who's 1 of 7. That was a nice looking stroke and puts it in, and he understands how important that one is as well.
2 of 8 for the night.
He's having fun, isn't he?
Well, the Arthur came out, that 3 ball, then the drive by Brown, and all of a sudden the Cairns are on the back foot.
What do they need to do here? The Taipans, it's in danger of getting away from them now.
Well, again, take care of the ball. Last one coming off a turnover, tried a little handoff action with Keanu Pinder that gets blown up, and they go down the other end, and they're going to need stops. Right now, 3 minutes to go, they need stops, and they need to find a way to get their scorers open. You know, haven't seen enough of Pinder tonight from what he's done throughout the course of the season. They've taken away that action with the roll on the pick and roll.
Who's won that battle between Derek Pardon and Keanu Pinder?
Pardon, look at Pardon, 15 points. He's got 9 rebounds. Pinder certainly hasn't been terrible.
He had 6 points when they played in round 4,
yeah.
Keanu Pinder. It was a matchup that General Hay highlighted pre-game, and for the second time, Pardon's going to take the honours. And there's rebound number 10.
It's a double-double.
That's 4 in 5 games for Derek Pardon. Shot clock at 9. The Arthur. Patient set from the Breakers. Now it's time to get creative.
A little bit of luck, but...
Well, did both. They used every ounce of the shot clock, and then, of course, was able good enough to put it in. Cole wanted it in the air. Scott gave him the little bounce pass.
10 unanswered points from the New Zealand Breakers.
Take Scott out. Air comes in. And they're doing this because 40 knows they've got to find some offense. Need to find some offense here from the perimeter. Same with Qual.
Sideline action. No good for Ben Air. Time is their friend, New Zealand. 2 minutes remaining. The Arthur with the long-range 3. That's a wild one. Need some buckets.
Get a better shot.
And they need them quick.
That's it. That's the key.
Pinder closes the lid.
Like Pardon got hit and it was out, and maybe it's a contact lens.
It does look that way.
And such is the importance of him, rather than just playing through it. Modi Mayor's going to burn a timeout to get him sorted.
100%.
And I like it. You've got a nice little buffer here, only a minute 38. Get some rest. And right now it's all about using the ball. As Pardon gets his contact lens to back in.
He says, I'm okay. I know how to put my own contact lens back in. I've been doing this a while.
I think he was just not so keen on the cameras getting in there. But they're all over the place, Derek. We just, we'll find you somehow or other.
Monty Mayor talking to his charges right now. And the New Zealand Breakers social media team captured this after their win last week over the Adelaide 36ers.
That I know that wins, you win. I'm not joking. I've never heard of a team like you guys are up. You keep moving. this used to be extremely tight. They said this was difficult. There was no way this game was going to be good. The only way you could was doing it. Hell
Didn't we, Joey, didn't we, when we with the Sydney Kings, didn't we get stuck in the air?
Yeah, we had a similar situation going to New Zealand. So that's going to happen when you've got these tight schedules and you've got a lot of flying in between, but it still requires a bit of a character test.
Yep.
And they passed that character test and were able to come away with a win, and that's a sloppy turnover. They get away with it.
Yep. They dodge a bullet. Full court press from Cairns. They've got to try and manufacture a result. Try and get the ball back. Seven on the clock. Liafa. They get a fresh 24 to work with now, New Zealand. Fresh 14, I should say, sorry. Foul on Hogue.
Yes, and they're the ones, they got the steal out of the timeout, weren't able to make it. Come down, tough shot, don't come up with the O boards. When you're trying to play catch-up, they're the types of plays you've got to come up with.
Monty Mayor. We've spoken already tonight about the Coach of the Year conversation. A win tonight might just change the mind of a few.
Oh, he's in the conversation, 100%. Wasn't he a different guy, though, as an assistant coach? You remember when he first came out here?
Dancing around on the sideline.
With Dan Shamir was the head coach, yeah?
Doing his thing.
I think a couple of times the referees had to sit him down because he was so excited about coaching.
I think they had to handcuff him to a chair at one stage.
We can rest a little easier here. This is a nice little buffer. Now 11 points.
They've got the bullets on Sunday. Keanu Pinder with the putback dunk. Do you think there are some within the league who just aren't quite all in on New Zealand yet?
Nope. I think everyone's in on New Zealand right now. I think there are some that just aren't all in on Cairns, but not New Zealand. We've seen enough of their personnel and their talent to know that they are the real deal.
Brantley puts it back to a double-figure lead, and he's flexing. He's having some fun. This is a massive scalp for the Breakers.
That's 2 wins in this building for them this season. And yet another road win.
6-1 on the road this season. It's been their night.
When things are rolling for you, you look for little signs, and they are rolling for the New Zealand Breakers. And they've earned that type of luck.
Antonio with a quick release 3. McDowell White can safely take the ball over halfway. The Breakers are the real deal. Make no mistake about it. New Zealand are a genuine title contender, and they beat another contender 82-71, 6-1 on the road in NBL23.
It was impressive. They had to battle a couple of charges by the home team, and they didn't get nervous. They stick with their system, they stick with their guys, and they come away with a really impressive win on the road. And to hold any team in this competition into the low 70s is an outstanding effort. And well done to the New Zealand Breakers. They continue to enhance their reputation and stature for what they're doing at both ends of the floor, but in particular on the defensive end.
And fourth quarters, they do it again. They win this one 24-19.
Absolutely, and we talked about it in the first half, how sluggish they were in the first quarter. They always seem to make a run. They got enough talent on that team where they can stabilize themselves and get themselves going.
And overcome a tough start with taking care of the ball as well. Yep. They had a lot of turnovers. It still ended up with 17 on the game, but found other ways to overcome that.
Let's get to Jenna O'Hea. She's got our Foot Locker player of the game.
Jarrell Brantley, Foot Locker Player of the Game tonight and showing lots of emotion.
Yeah, I love it. I love being out here. It's a competitive league. We got a good team. And every day is a dogfight, so just enjoying it, being myself.
Speaking of a great team, 4 players in double figures tonight. What can you speak about your teammates?
Yeah, no, we're versatile. We got Barry Brown, Derek Parton. The list goes on. So just got to continue to stay as a team, stay as a unit, and good things can happen.
And Road Warriors, 6-1 on the road. What is it about this team that makes you so tough?
Yeah, toughness. I mean, we practice hard. Coach comes out with a good game plan, and we trust each other. I think that's a good recipe.
Amazing. Good job tonight, and good luck on Sunday.
Brilliant performance by Jarrell Brantley. Brilliant performance by the New Zealand Breakers, 82-71. They take their record to 9-3 on the season. We're back to wrap it up after this. Big result for the Breakers. The first time they've won 2 in a row in Cairns since 2013. 6-1 on the road, and they have now won 9 of their last 11 games. They are the form team of the competition right now.
They are, and they're doing it playing a real system-orientated way at both ends of the floor. I like the way in which that when they can switch, they're not getting blown by. They can deal with mismatches down low with the help and the rotation. Sure, they get caught out, but overall, it's really heavy lifting for their opponents. And to get, like I said, anyone to 71 points in this competition, particularly on the home floor.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, Jarrell Brantley, he was just went about it in a somewhat unassuming way. When you're missing those 3-pointers like he was for a fair chunk of the game, you sort of sometimes can lose track. But 9 of 18 from the field, 20 points, and it just always looks like he's in control. He's a big unit that's able to overpower and bully his opponents, and he did a lot of that with those numbers.
He's a beast, man. 9 for 18, 7 rebounds. And he knows where his shots need to come from, so he takes that ball down low and backs a small point down and gets the job done.
Breakers will be in action on Sunday against the Bullets. Cairns will play Monday against the Sydney Kings. Tomorrow, it's Melbourne and Tasmania at John Cain Arena. On behalf of Andrew Gaze, Leonard Copeland, Jenna O'Hay, and our hard-working team behind the scenes, thanks for being with us tonight. We'll catch you tomorrow in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.